Y'all be lying on this internet.
Watch this get censored. Malcolm X was assassinated a few months after visiting Gaza and Palestine and coming back and writing an article called Zionist Logic. And in that article, he said, Zionism have mastered the art of dollarism. And that's how they got their foot in here in America. Not only does Malcolm X was trying to break the injustices African Americans faced, he was also unifying the struggles of international people to the struggles of African Americans because we have a common enemy, white supremacy and Zionism. Wow, surprise, surprise. After learning about Palestine and how they face injustices every day by the hands of Zionists, he went to learn firsthand. He was trying to bring light to the fact that every people of color that are oppressed had a common enemy and that we all have the same struggles in different fonts. And every time he spoke and said blacks, he didn't just mean African Americans. He didn't just mean Africans. He meant Arabs. He meant Asians. He meant Latinos. He meant every people of color that are being oppressed by the hands of white supremacists and Zionists.
It is the nerve of some of y'all to take the loudest voices of our liberation and twist their words and change their rhetoric to fit whoever you want it to fit for. Now, of course, Malcolm was an anti-imperialist and an anti-colonialist. I don't even see y'all bring up Malcolm this much when something's going on in our community. But whenever y'all want to use him conveniently because he was outspoken against Zionism and anti-imperialism, all of a sudden that becomes the whole message and what he was about. And now y'all are going to sit here and pretend that his outspokenness towards anti-imperialism is the reason he was unalived? Y'all don't do this with no one else's leaders. If what's going on in Gaza is so important to you, then why not raise the voices of liberation leaders, I don't know, from Gaza? Why take someone that spoke up so loudly about liberation for our community and use their voice so loud for your own? It just feels like they use Malcolm X because they can't get DJ Khaled to speak up. It seems very performative. But let's talk about what Malcolm was doing on his trip. He went to go to Gaza. He also went to go to Mecca earlier that year. And when he went, he was going to see how Western imperialism was affecting other people. He wanted to get a better understanding of global systemic oppression. But at no point did Malcolm take his eyes off the prize of liberating black African descendant people. In the last article he wrote on his typewriter before he was unalived, Malcolm was asked by a Muslim interviewer why he focused so heavily on the continent of Africa. And his answer was, I regard Africa as my fatherland. I am primarily interested in seeing it become completely free of outside political and economic influence that has dominated and exploited it. Africa, because of its strategic position, faces real crisis. So even when he spoke to people in the Muslim community, Malcolm was still letting them know that his priority was always African people. And not only that, he also went on to hold Arab people accountable. Since the Arab image is almost inseparable from the image of Islam, the Arab world has a multiple responsibility that it must live up to. Since Islam is a religion of brotherhood and unity, those who take the lead in expounding this religion are duty bound to set the highest example of brotherhood and unity. At no point in the moments leading up to his unaliving did Malcolm X say that he had switched his focus to non-African descendant people. And nowhere did he mention that Asian is the new black. He actually came home from his travels and formed an organization of Afro-American unity, which was focused on liberating people of African descent in the Western Hemisphere and specifically in the United States. After he visited Gaza, Malcolm also went to 7 other African countries to speak with leaders there, including Haile Selassie and Kwame Nkrumah, a Pan-African.
So it was our intention to try and find out what was our African brothers doing to get results, so that you and I could study what they had done and perhaps gain from that study or benefit from their experiences. And my traveling over there was designed to help to find out how. One of the first things that the independent African nations did was to form an organization called the Organization of African Unity. The purpose of our organization of Afro-American Unity, which has the same aim and objective, to fight whoever gets in our way, to bring about the complete independence of people of African descent here in the Western Hemisphere and first here in the United States, and bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary.